Okay, I had a little problem with the microphone, so I'm going to try it this way. I will narrate the video as it's going along here. We're working on headlights on my work truck, the F-150. You can see they're not too bad. We're going to go through all the tools and materials I used. And so if you already have the equipment to do rim repair, you also have the equipment to do headlight restoration. Normally, I would use my pneumatic sander. You can also use the corded sander or a hand sander. That's the bug rag I'm going to use to clean the headlight first, and that was the interface pad. We'll get back into that in a minute. Sandpaper have from 600 grit up to 5,000 grit. That's the absolute rinseless wash that we're going to use to wash the headlight first. The ceramic coating that I'm going to seal the headlight with. Polishing pad that I'll use for the headlight compound, and then the rags that I use also. That's the tape that I used to, I've already masked off the headlight. And if it was a customer car, I would do more. That's the deionized water tank I use. In Phoenix, we have very hard water, and that removes all the minerals, so you get a clean finish instead of leaving water spots. It's not necessary, but it does help, especially here. So as you can see, it's already taped off. And if it was a customer car, I'd tape more and use some paper to cover more of the body. But since it's just my work truck, this will be fine. And I'm skipping I'm going to skip the 600 grit because these aren't too bad. So I'll start sanding here momentarily with 800 grit. Just wiping it off to make sure I got all the bugs off before I start. And that's the interface pad. Since that lens is curved and the backing pad on the sander is hard, you want to use the interface pad so you can follow the contour of the headlight. I'm setting up now with the 800 grit on the interface pad. And every step of this process is going to be wet sanded. If I'm doing some headlights that are really bad, then I will dry sand at first and then finish up with the wet sanding. But since these aren't too bad, although later on you will be able to see the break line between where the factory finish is still good and the upper part where the factory finish is completely gone. So I have this sander on high, and this it's not as powerful as the pneumatic sander, but it'll get this job done. And I have a 3 amp hour battery in there. I have two of those. One battery will probably do 4 or 5 headlights. Um, if you're trying to do a bunch of these mobile, this is a great way to do it with the M12 sander. I would probably go with the 5 or 6 amp hour batteries if you're mobile. That way you can do, I mean, with 4 of those batteries, you could probably work all day on headlights. I'm going to link in the description, I'm going to link all the products I used in this video and all the stuff I sometimes use doing headlights. Just want to keep the headlight damp while you're sanding. You'll be able to tell when it dries because you'll feel the sander start to stick. When it's wetted down, it will just glide right over it. So I'm switching to the 1000 grit sandpaper now. And again, every piece of sandpaper is going to be on the interface pad. Just wet it down again and start it with 1000 grit. You can see why you want to paper off underneath the tape and around the body of the vehicle, because it will splatter. You'll get splatter all over the place. And you want to tape it off because you don't want to scratch the paint with the sander. So even on my truck, I do that. And I don't have to on this one, but on some you do. You do have to open the hood to get the top of the light. So now I'm switching to the 1500 grit. And again, I started this one with 800. I also sometimes start with 600. I've even started down at 320 and a few times at 180 when it was heavy oxidation that all had to be removed. Just depends on how much material you need to remove on where you want to start. And you can do all this with like I showed, the hand sanding block. It can all be done with hand sanding. It just takes a lot longer. But it also only costs you a couple dollars. Switching out now to the 2000 grit. So we still have 2000, 3000, and 5000 grit to go before we polish. As you go up in the grits, you're not trying to remove any oxidation anymore. You're just getting out your previous grit sanding marks. All right, switching over to the 3000 grit now. You can see how the water sits on the lens as I keep wetting it down for the wet sanding. That's why I use the deionized water, because that will leave water spots with the water here in Phoenix. I mean, anywhere that has hard water, it'll do that. So here it is worth it to have that tank for sure. You can see down that bottom corner, the bumper's in my way, so I have to hold the sander funny to get the right angle to get down there. All right, final step of sanding coming up with the 5000 grit. And you honestly don't have to go to 5000 grit, but I have 5000 grit sandpaper, so I use it. It only, takes a few seconds. So you can see right now I'm working on that break line between where the factory finish is still good and the upper part where there's no factory finish left at all. This is not the first time this headlight's been done. All right, I'm using this rag from the rag company. I'll link that in the description also. I use these rags all the time for headlights, ceramic coating. They're even for rims sometimes. They do an excellent job though. But right now I'm just trying to dry it off before I use the lens clarifying compound. And that turtle wax kit's pretty nice, but you can also use any polish or compound to get it cleaned up. Now you can start to see the haze where the factory finish is still good, and then above it where it's a little clearer, but that'll fade out shortly. That pad is from Lake Country. That's a medium pad. I use those all the time too. I even use those on wheels, on the machined wheels when I need to polish it. They don't hold up very long when you're working on edges of wheels, but they do a fantastic job. And that's got the turtle wax lens clarifying compound on it. So we're going to spread it out, and then we'll put it on the Milwaukee M12 and polish the headlight out. And again, this does go quite a bit faster with the pneumatic sander, but I didn't want to fire up the compressor to do this. So going with the cordless, and it does a good job. I'm interested to try at some point the Rupes cordless mini polisher, but I don't have that yet. So okay, I'm grabbing the Adams Surface Prep spray now because you want to remove all the polish since I'm going to use a ceramic coating to seal this headlight. You just want to make sure you have all the polish off so that it sticks really well. You should probably do that too, even if you're using just the UV spray that comes with the Turtle Wax kit. That way you make sure you have 100% coverage over the lens and it's not just sitting over a little bit of polish residue. Flip the rag over to the dry side and make sure it's completely dry before the ceramic. Now I'm pointing out where you can still kind of see the break line between the factory finish and the top where there's no finish left at all. All right, that's the applicator pad for the Adams graphene ceramic coating. I'm just going to coat the applicator. Just takes a few drops. That's plenty to coat one headlight. You could probably do, I don't know, at least 100 headlights out of one bottle of ceramic coating. Probably more than that. And you just want to apply that in a crosshatch pattern. Make sure you have complete coverage. You can still see that line, but it's very faint now. And then you let the ceramic sit for a minute. It's really hot today, so it doesn't have to sit very long. And then we're just going to level it off with the rag company rag. And that does it. I'll clean the body of the truck off after I take the tape off, but that'll just wipe right off. It's still pretty wet, so I didn't make too much of a mess on this one. So that's the video. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this content, please subscribe.